Hey Walking Dead fans, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll talk about a cool little story. It's kind of a Walking Dead trivia, if anything, and it's all the way back at the very beginning. If you remember in the TV show, there was a car chase. Rick and Shane and some others, they try to make a roadblock. The car wrecks, but the people still try to get out, and I think they maybe had robbed a bank, possibly, in the TV show. In the comic, there was just one guy, and I think it was just Rick and Shane, and this guy had escaped from prison. So in the comic, it was an escaped convict. I think it might have been bank robbers in the show, but there were 3 guys in the show in a car and only 1 guy in the comic. But in the show, the 3 guys getting out of the car, it's a big gun battle, badass gun battle, and they thought there were just 2 guys in the car, but there was a 3rd man, so they relaxed a moment after the 2nd guy, but the 3rd guy got Rick in the chest, a shot to the chest. Also happened in the comic, Rick got a shot to the chest. But just, for a moment, I'll tell you something. Back when I first watched the show, and this is before Fear the Walking Dead come out, of course, season 1 of The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead hadn't come out yet. And Tobias, Tobias ruined it for me. But I had this theory that maybe the virus was in the car. When the car wrecked, it was released, it was contained pretty good, but when the car flipped 2 or 3 times, the virus was released, and it was actually Rick. And, those moments, laying out the chain in the road that caused the car to flip, yada, yada, Rick was kind of part of the reason why the virus was released and stuff like that. But anyway, that was such a far-fetched theory anyway. But then Tobias come along and said the virus or whatever has been around for a while, for weeks or months or something. They had seen things on the news. Because the day Rick gets shot should be close to, if not the day, that all hell breaks loose in L.A. in Fear the Walking Dead Episode 1. But in The Walking Dead Episode 1, such an epic show, a little zombie movie in itself, just classic, classic, classic. This sets up Rick getting shot, going into the coma, and then everything going forward from there, pretty much all the way through to the end of him blowing up the bridge. This was a man looking for his family and trying to keep his family safe once he found them. And I think it would have been cool if it happened this way in the show, but let's go over what happened in the comic during this scene. Like I say, escaped convict, 1 guy, his name's Reggie. We find out through some video games. I'll go into that here in just a second. But issue number 1, Rick and Shane gets confronted by Reggie, somebody who's escaped from Grant County Prison, and engaged them in a firefight on the road. In the melee, Reggie shoots Shane's hand so he couldn't lay down cover fire, and then put a bullet through Rick's chest. It then jumps to Rick in the coma with the city abandoned and everybody thinking he's not going to wake up and left him behind, that kind of thing, just as it started happening in the show after that point. And I got the idea to do this video from a CBR.com article, which I will link down in the description below. But we didn't know what happened to Reggie. It was assumed he got away before backup arrived. Shane had his hand shot. He couldn't shoot back. Rick gets shot in the chest. So we figure Reggie just hauls ass. He gets away. But then in The Walking Dead Assault, it's a mobile game, and The Walking Dead All-Out War miniatures games, Reggie did mysteriously get infected and turn into a walker during this period. So he died somehow, and we don't know how. But he did reanimate and become a walker. And guess what? He somehow found his way to the camp, Rick's camp, outside of Atlanta, in the show Quarry Camp. Rick had went back into the city to get Merle with Daryl and Glenn and some others, but in the comic, Rick was there at the camp. They were all sitting around the campfire when, as in the show, Amy gets up to go pee, and she was ambushed by a walker. In the TV show, it was Greg Nicotero dressed up as a zombie and bites into Amy's arm and neck. In the comic, it was Reggie. The guy at the shootout back at the beginning is the one who somehow dies, reanimates, and ends up biting Amy as she comes out of the Dale's RV at the camp. Is that not crazy? Shane ends up blowing Reggie's brains out, but of course this is after he's bitten Amy. So they did get their revenge on Reggie, but man, did he really impact our group big time in the comics early on. Now, personally, I don't play those games. I got that information from the article. They're putting out the Walking Dead comic again, reissuing it in color, called the Walking Dead Deluxe. And Kirkman in the letter section is giving a lot of details and inside information and stuff. So there may be a lot of videos as we go along. Even though the comics are the same comics, they're just in color. There's a lot of little tidbit information coming out about them that maybe we didn't know before. So it may make for some cool videos like this one. And it's hard to get enough of this season 1 stuff, right? But you guys let me know what you think about it all down in the comments below, and I will join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more dead stuff.